First item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Put yourself
Before we go to the opening statement, because we just did the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, I would ask that all of us in our own way spend a moment thinking about what happened in Florida, because it was such a tragedy. And I would ask you to do that. Thank you. And Mayor, all the public officials these days have added responsibilities. The lack of civil discourse in our society.
It's critical that we, again, try to safeguard our town. We've been fortunate. And one of those things that we just got to keep in mind, that we got to look out for each other, make sure we keep our eye on each other. So, important.
I appreciate that. Thank you all. Lisa, would you please read the opening statement and roll call?
This is to advise the general public and to instruct that it be recorded in the minutes that in compliance with the Senator Byron M. Bayer Open Public Meetings Act, the Casino Reinvestment Development Authority set its annual meeting schedule for August 2017 through July 2018, setting forth the time, date, and location of this meeting to the Secretary of State's office in Trenton, New Jersey, and the office of the Clerk of Atlantic City. The notice was published in the Press of Atlantic City, the Camden Courier Post, and the New York Star Ledger on August 1st and August 2nd, 2017. Members of the press will be permitted to take photographs of today's meeting, providing that it is done in a manner which is not distracting to the authority, nor interferes with the public's right to observe the meeting. Any member of the public who wishes to address the authority regarding items to be presented to the board today will be given the opportunity to do so. Comments regarding any issues that do not appear on today's agenda will be taken during the public comment portion. We ask that members of the public who address the board stand and state their name and address for the record each time they speak on an issue. It is also requested that comments be limited to 3 minutes per issue. Deborah DiLorenzo.
Present.
Ed Gant. Mark Antonio. Mayor Frank Gilliam.
Here.
Michael Hanley.
Here.
Gary Hill.
Here.
Howard Kyle.
Here.
William Mullen.
Here.
Kevin Olson. James Closes.
Here.
Dave Rebuck for the State Attorney General.
He's here, I don't know where he is. Break room.
Robert Kennedy for the DCA Commissioner.
Here.
Bob Shaughnessy for the State Treasurer.
Here.
Frank Spencer. Richard Tolson.
Here.
Chairman Robert Mulcahy.
Present. Thank you, Lisa. The next item on the agenda is ratification of the minutes of the meeting of January 30th. I assume you've all read them. If you had any corrections, you gave to Lisa. Having said that, I'll accept a motion to approve the minutes corrected.
So moved.
So second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered. Chris, you want to deliver the Executive Director's report?
Sure. Just a couple things today, Mr. Chairman. First, the Atlantic City Restaurant Week kickoff event was held last Tuesday, February 13th. It was at Borgata. It was a sold-out event, which is great. 300 plus attendees. Gave media and guests a preview of Atlantic City Restaurant Week, which will be March 4th through the 9th. The event raised over $7,000 for scholarships for local culinary students and a cash donation for the Community Food Bank. Also, some event recaps for the two facilities. Boardwalk Hall had Battle of the Bands, or excuse me, Battle at the Boardwalk National Spirit Cheer, a little bit different. February 4th and 5th, there were over 12,000 people there. I should also mention Luke Bryan is coming to Boardwalk Hall next Friday. That is a sold-out show, over 12,000 tickets sold so far. The convention center, we've had a few bigger shows. The Easy Riders Bike Show Tour came through. That was 5,000 attendees. Atlantic City Auction and Car Show and Auction, February 9th to 11th, 30,000 attendees. And we don't have the final numbers yet, but U.S. Futsal Tournament, and the Atlantic City RV and Camping Show, both of which combined, looking at about 17,500 or so. That was this past weekend at the Convention Center, so a lot going on at both facilities. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Chris. If I could just ask, Chris, Ryan, what does that appeal to? What type is it?
It's a country, yeah, very, very big.
And it's sold out.
Yeah, completely sold out. Yep. It's a big show.
That shows you maybe what's the interest here is in country music, maybe more than some.
Country does very well down here, yeah.
Yeah, we had a couple of beach concerts that really sold big on country music.
Mr. Cheatham, are you going? Country music?
Not likely.
I'm going to change the agenda slightly with the prerogative of the chair to have public comment at this point for one issue. Many of you are here because of the issue with the Ocean Club Condominium Association. I want you to all know that I've gotten all your mail. We've received it. I've gotten the email and the Federal Express from your lawyer. I do want you to know that there will be no action or discussion of it today, so that if you don't wish to hang around for a couple hours, you're free to go. And if anybody wanted to speak to that issue, I would have one person that wants to speak to it right now. Otherwise, but I did want you to know that we're not acting on it right now, okay? Is there anybody that wishes to say anything? All right, Alex, go ahead.
Now, I'm gonna speak on it.
Will I still be able to speak, sir?
Yes, I have a right to speak. So don't ask me about right to speak. I want to say something about that because that issue touches my heart. The beach and the boardwalk is our main attraction of the city of Atlantic City. I don't care what we do, what we try to do, what we're trying to do, we should have those things to come first. Now, access to the beach is what our visitors come here for. Now, I don't care what you rent, who you rent it to, or how you rent it. They should have access to get to the beach through whatever they're doing. And that is for the public to get through. Now, I know that you're trying to make money, fine, ain't nothing wrong with that. Trying to have something new, there's nothing wrong with that. But the visitors and the citizens come first when it comes to that beach. And access to it should not be blocked. Have access somewhere in their scheme and plan. And that's where it should be.
Yes, sir.
Robert Beckelman, Green Mountain Road, Smith and Davis. I see you have received my letter. You mentioned it. That was from me. It laid out why this plan is not properly before this board. I'm going to guess that the board has not had time to review that letter thoroughly at this point. Maybe I'm wrong. If you have, and if there are comments or questions for it, I'd be happy
I
to
have
take
it
them.
here, I saw it today.
So what you have there, it outlines why there's nothing for you to be doing with this plan because it's not properly here. It was never adopted by the city. We have learned, and I know you guys wanted to hold off to learn more about how this plan came to be. I don't know what you've learned, or if you're interested in sharing with us to help give us guidance as to how we're going to move forward. Though I've learned a little bit, and I've learned that there was an email from the Chiesa law firm that said they're authorizing the city to do what it needs to do to adopt the plan. And the city has not done that. So there's no authorization for this thing to be before you to be considering. There's nothing to consent to. There's nothing for this board to approve. That's the position I laid out at the last meeting. It's the same position, and now it's thoroughly laid out in my letter with exhibits supporting that position. What we'd appreciate is, unless you like us that much and want us at every meeting, further advance notice of when you expect this to be on the
I
agenda.
will give you my word that if we're going to take action, we will notify you.
And the requested action is that you recognize that it's not properly before you and reject it.
Well, that's for us to decide.
Of course.
But I will give you my word that our legal people will notify you if we are considering discussion or action on it, okay?
Further than the 48 hours.
Sure.
Thank you, that would be appreciated.
No, look, we're not here to try and do the wrong thing. We don't want to hurt people. And so part of what we're trying to do here and work with the mayor and so that the CRDA and the city are working together for the benefit of Atlantic City. And we're not here to try and ram something down people's throats that they don't want. We're here to do our duty under the law. And that's what we're going to do, and we're going to do it right. We're not out to hurt anybody. We're out to try and make Atlantic City as good as it can be. And we appreciate your comments. And look, that's what democracy is all about. That's why you come here and talk to us. If we didn't care about that, then we wouldn't do it. And that's one of the reasons I changed the agenda a little bit today, so those of you that don't have to sit here and listen to other stuff. But we will give you notice more than 48 hours if we're going to take it up.
Yes, sir. And again, I request that taking up be, and while this is democracy, I'm here as a lawyer. I'm here to let you know that this is an illegal action. If you want, so.
I hear you. I hear what you say. That's it. We have our own lawyers to determine whether we can or not.
Follow the law, then I'm comforted.
Yes, we do like to follow the law. In any event, I want you all to know that, and so you don't have to sit here. You're welcome to stay here if you wish, but it will not be discussed today. So if you want to leave, feel free to leave. It's not a problem. Okay?
Steve Young, and I'm going to speak on this issue here. It's very important that we understand democracy. Democracy, as far as Atlantic City is concerned, we had a planning board and a zoning board, where people were able to, business was able to come to Atlantic City and to the planning board and zoning board about these issues. Now CRDA is basically the zoning and planning czar, per se, for the city of Atlantic City. And when you have local participation with people that's on the board, that lives in your community and understand what you're going through, it's more of a communication and transparency. So I just want to say, as far as the planning and the way the planning is going right now, and the way the law, the legislation has changed, it needs to revert back to the residents being able to be on those boards and decide the planning and zoning for Atlantic City. So we want to talk about the solution. I think we need to get back to the solution that was working. People were able to come to the planning board when they had an issue, we would talk about it, and we would recommend certain things on the planning and zoning board. And with that, representation on your zoning and planning, I don't know what it looks like right now, but I guarantee it don't look like the residents in this community. And because of that, what does it take to have that type of representation, or some representation from the residents in the community on those boards?
What we're acting in conformance with the statutes that the state created under S11 and S12. And within that process, we take our responsibility very seriously. That's why we have public hearings. That's why we listen to the people here. And I think that we are very transparent when it comes to these kinds of issues. Look, we talk to the mayor all the time. We have a very good relationship with how we handle these things. We're not out to harm anybody. We're out to try and do what's best for Atlantic City. Other comments? Yes, ma'am. I really want to limit this, but go ahead.
Was this all public comment? I just want to say, if you're doing best for Atlantic City, I want to commend you on bringing Broadway back to the boardwalk. I think that's really exciting. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I know Judy's happy too. Okay, so we'll go back to the agenda. If any of you wish to leave, you're very welcome to leave.
Thank you, sir.
I don't want you to have to pay your lawyer more than
Thank you.
Okay, now we'll proceed to the action items for today. The first item on the agenda is the 2018 SID assessment roll. It's a certification of the 2018 assessment roll. Lisa, would you please read the resolution?
Resolution of the Casino Reinvestment Development Authority approving and authorizing the certification of the Special Improvement District Assessment Roll for the period January 1, 2018 through December 31, 2018.
Anybody need to recuse himself on this? Description of the action requested. Chris?
Sure, so this is the final step in the SID budget process. Just by way of background, that process started with the introduction of the SID budget, the 2018 budget, at a public meeting on October 6th. SID committee then recommended adoption of the budget at another public meeting on November 8th. and the budget was ultimately adopted by the board on November 21st of last year, obviously. The proposed special assessment for the 2018 budget is based on a rate of $38 per 100,000 of net assessed value. That rate has remained unchanged since the CRDA established the Special Improvement District in 2011. The assessment is projected to generate revenues of a little over $1.4 million, specifically $1,438,168 towards the budget, and the remainder of the $6.25 million budget all comes from CRDA funding, CRDA subsidy.
Board discussion. Hearing none, public comment.
I'd
Mr.
like to
Cheatham.
make a comment on the city's budget. Now, what does it take for Sid, management, people in charge, to recognize the Shade Tree Committee? Now, we're not a commission, which is something that our mayor needs to handle and change. But we're just a committee, citizens volunteering their time and energy. And this is one citizen that's on that committee. And I'm a little annoyed that the SID people and the CRDA don't even recognize this committee of ours at all. Now, that's, to me, what needs to be changed, some kind of way. Now, I don't like being on committees in the city and volunteering my time, and then nobody don't even want to recognize you. That gets to me. We're all here working, trying to do better for Atlantic City. And that means all of Atlantic City. I don't like this tourism district thing in the first place. I don't know why a stupid government even created it. This is one city. And the whole city, as far as I'm concerned, is a tourism district. Because our visitors travel through these streets all the way to each one of these casinos on the streets. And something needs to be done, and that committee needs to be recognized. And I'm tired of being on it in the first place, even going to the meetings. Because we're not even recognized by you guys at all, and ladies, period.
Other comments? Board, we did public comment. Motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so ordered. Next item, the Oscar McClinton Waterfront Park Maintenance. This is to award a one-year contract with an option, with two one-year options to the County of Atlantic, whereby the CRDA SID provides landscaping and related groundskeeping services. Lisa, would you please read the resolution?
Resolution of the Casino Reinvestment Development Authority approving the negotiation and execution of an intergovernmental agreement with the County of Atlantic for the Special Improvement District Division to provide landscaping services for the county-owned Oscar McClinton Waterfront Park in the Atlantic City Tourism District.
Howard, you're going to recuse yourself. That's fine. This is a contract that's been on for over 10 years. This is really the previous contract expired, so we're enacting a new contract. The budget was laid out there. We added a little bit to it to provide for some additional work. This is an intergovernmental agreement. I think it's good, and I would hope that we could get it done. Board discussion. Public discussion. Motion.
Motion to accept.
Been moved by Mr. Hill. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Tolson. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so ordered. Third item, tourism market expansion project. This is approval of an amendment to the project and supplemental fund reservation in the amount of $125,000 and authorization to enter into a public-private partnership agreement with Judy Ludy Productions for sponsorship of the 2018 Broadway on the Boardwalk series. Lisa, would you please read the resolution?
Resolution of the Casino Reinvestment Development Authority establishing a supplemental fund reservation in an amount not to exceed $125,000 from the Tourism District and Community Development Fund and amending the tourism market expansion project to support the 2018 Broadway on the Boardwalk.
Anybody recuse? This is a series that had previously been paid for by the ACA. In 2014, it drew some 4,000 people, and then in 15, it went to 6,000, and then it was discontinued. And the proposal by Judy Ludi Productions is that they would redo the series this year. It would begin on July 6th, and it would highlight 9 to 12 current Broadway favorites with a minimum of 3 shows per week. As you may or may not know, the Broadway producers pay for the talent fees. The money that we're offering today provides for the budget to run it, to set it up, to market it, and could be a little less if we're able to get some donation of hotel rooms. As you saw in the material that was sent to you, there's a whole list of Broadway shows. They will do excerpts from 2 or 3 of them in an evening, and the committee reviewed it today. Committee was in favor of it, and with that, I will ask for any board discussion. Deborah, would you like to comment on it since you're the chair of the committee?
Bob, I just wanted to make something clear. It's 3 Mondays,
3
not
Mondays.
3 times a week, right? Chris?
3 Mondays, that's
Yes,
Three
right.
3
Mondays, but
Mondays.
possibly
3 Mondays.
4,
Mhm.
right?
Mr. Chairman, I know how hard Ms. Ludovico works. This series, when it was here, was very successful. Living in the city, I walked there, I saw that amazing thing for the city to do. So I look forward to seeing it and supporting it.
Debbie, is there anything more you want to add? Any other comments from the
Just-
board?
Mr. Chairman, there
Yes,
were a
Rich.
couple things brought up in committee.
Yes.
That we just need to make sure are addressed.
Sure.
But having this been done before, I would assume all those issues were addressed at that time, so, but we need to, dot those i's and
Yeah.
cross this T.
That's correct. Any other comments? Any public comment?
Yeah, I'd like to say something about this. I'm glad to see that we're doing this. And this is something that as a kid I remember at the Apollo Theater, Broadway tryouts used to come to Atlantic City. And that was one of the theaters that they used to do it in. So that's why I keep telling you, ladies and gentlemen, I've been living in Atlantic City too long. And I know what made Atlantic City great, and I think we're doing the right thing, trying to bring some of these things back.
Other public comment? Hearing none, I'll accept a motion to approve the supplemental resolution, reservations. Been moved by Mr. Shaughnessy, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Ploshas. No further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so ordered. The next item on the agenda is approval to designate surplus property outside of the tourism district. Lisa, would you please read the resolution?
Resolution of the Casino Reinvestment Development Authority designating certain property as surplus and no longer needed for the purposes of the authority.
Description of the action requested. Chris?
Sure, Mr. Chairman. Back in December, the board designated certain CRDA-owned property located outside the tourism district as surplus, allowing for either a sale at auction or other disposition of the properties. This action would amend the prior approval just to add one property. It's currently a parking lot. It's adjacent to the former daycare center, the former Osprey Daycare Center. For background, the daycare center was a facility that the CRDA, where the CRDA owned the improvements, but not the land underneath of it. That was through a ground lease with the city, and the ground lease required that once the daycare center was no longer functioning as a daycare, the property was to revert back to the city. The property is no longer operating as daycare, so it was reverted back to the city. It's going to be utilized for another purpose, and we are just looking to add this to the list of surplus property in order to dispose of the property. Sorry.
Board
A
discussion.
lot of property.
We went through this pretty thoroughly with specific lots. Public comment.
You know, property, right now, Atlantic City has more lots than they really need. Now, transferring this property over back to the city, that's one thing, that's nice. But I'd like to see something going on these properties that's gonna bring in some revenue and some activity. Now, we got Pacific Avenue, as far as I'm concerned, it looks a mess with all these lots on Pacific Avenue. We had so many businesses on Pacific Avenue. We need to do something about this property, empty lots, ladies and gentlemen, somewhere along the line. Getting people to invest in this city and encouraging them to invest. If we don't start doing that a little bit more than we're doing, we still failing what we're supposed to be doing, getting Atlantic City back to its heyday. Empty lots is not no heyday as far as I'm concerned, period. We need something on those properties that's bringing in revenue and tax revenue and people.
Bill, I think part of this is the first step in the process that the mayor has some real ideas about what should be done to put some housing units on these properties where it's feasible. And I don't think we're in disagreement with what you said, yes?
We'd just like to see more of properties given back to the city to bring in some more revenue for taxes. Because everybody knows that our Atlantic City is in a very hard situation when it comes to property taxes right now. We're paying the highest probably on the East Coast. So to bring in more of those properties and take them off the rolls of CRDA would bring in more property, lower our property taxes a little more. So just consider bringing in more, taking more properties off your list so they can get back on the tax rolls. So our taxes can go down and we can start stabilizing our own community and have our government back.
I think, so that people don't misunderstand, some of the parcels are really small slivers that can go to an adjacent property owner or something else. They may not in itself be big enough to handle anything, but we want to get them back to the city. We want to get them on the tax rolls. Any other public comments? Motion to adopt.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Tolson. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Rebuck. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered. Now we come to the second public comment portion of the meeting, since I had it at the beginning. Is there any further comments from the public that they wish to make on any subject we haven't talked about?
You know, I'm gonna have something to say.
Bill, this would be a strange meeting if you didn't.
Now, I see that McClinton Park is being taken care of for another contract. Now, who's gonna take care of O'Donnell's Park down there? Whose responsibility is that?
We've been taking care of that for 10 years.
Huh?
We've been maintaining O'Donnell Park for 10 years.
Oh, yeah? I mean, and Stockton don't have nothing to do with that?
Stockton's in discussions currently for the possibility of taking that over at some point, but we're operating until we get formally advised that they're gonna take it. But
Yeah, but wait a minute, when I hear that take it,
we're not taking it, operated for the
operate,
city.
now, you know, because is that still gonna be accessed by the city to use if need be?
I don't know the terms of any agreement, but it's open, it's public open space, it's listed as open space, and it has to operate that way.
Well, I just
I don't
hope
think
that,
it's gonna be
I hope that
sealed
we
off.
can work together with Stockton on these things. Because, you know, having everybody else own property and doing whatever they want, and then our city people, you know, have to go to Robin Hood Bond to even get access to anything. That shouldn't be. We should be able to go to City Hall and be able to get access.
Right.
As far as I'm concerned. I don't know what's on other people's mind,
Right.
but our city used to have some authority. We need to get some of this back again.
As far as Sid goes, we cut the grass, we maintain the irrigation, we fertilize, we trim the trees, we rake, and we pick up trash from that park.
Just wanna know,
But it's a
'cause
maintenance.
I go through all this point area I'm talking about here. I see all this stuff. Maybe I see too much, that's what's wrong.
Any other public comment? Hearing none, I'll close the public comment portion of the meeting. We are going into executive session as a board. I do not expect any comments or action to come out of the executive session today. You're welcome to wait outside if you wish, but if I thought something was going to come out, I would tell you. So I would accept the motion now to close the public meeting.
Moved.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
I accept the motion to go into executive session. Moved, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
So ordered. We will now go into executive session.